Hello. All right, today we're going to talk about mental health journey and what did you learn on your mental health journey. Um, that's what I sent on the text message yesterday. Hope you had a chance to think about it. Everyone has a mental health journey. Just don't think about it as folks that had a breakdown or have mental health illnesses and those things. But, for me personally, I do have a mental health illness, and it's been 10 years since I left the hospital. This year it marks 10 years, and it's been a long journey, a rough journey, but rewarding at the same time, right? Because God says, "In your weakness, I will be strong." So He will hold us up when we're weak. So that's something that I learned going into the hospital and then coming out. So I'm gonna go through some of the things. I did some research about mental health journey. What are some things that you can do through your journey? Because, like I said, no matter if you've been in a hospital or not, you have challenges with mental health. Just our world and where we live, is challenging enough. So I'm going to go through some things. So I'm going to take a little long today, but bear with me. Um, you want to build self awareness. The things that I've learned is labeling emotions, right? Instead of internalizing everything, express it. That kind of brings the wall down when you're going through something. Talk to a close friend. Notice your patterns. Checking with yourself daily. For me, and I'll talk about it later. The first thing I do in the morning, I'm not gonna lie, so I check my phone. But outside of that, I spend time meditating, praying, and doing a pre-workout before going to the gym. So little small things you can do to get ready for the day. All right. The other thing you want to do is practice self-compassion. So how do you do that? The one thing that I read was in situations when you're facing like negative thoughts about a situation, or you're feeling bad. You wanna make sure that you speak to yourself the way that you would speak to a friend. So if a friend was going through a situation, you wouldn't give them a whole bunch of negative feedback. You would try to lift them up. So try to do that with yourself. And also, when you're having those negative thoughts or those challenging thoughts, and you're like, "What's the worst that can happen?" What is the worst that can happen? Ask yourself that. But you can also say, "What good can come out of it?" Instead of looking at glasses half empty, uh, or yeah, glasses half empty. Look at it, glasses half full, right? So what positive things can come out of that? And the one thing that I had to learn was release being perfect, right? I wanted everything to be perfect. I wanted to clean up perfect. I wanted to have the perfect family. I wanted to be the perfect person. And no one is perfect except for God. We live in a sinful world, so we will fail. We will have challenges. We won't be perfect, and it's okay. It's okay. Just be consistent. That's what you can do, but you can't expect to be perfect. All right, caring for your body. So this is a big one. So I sleep consistently. I go to bed at 8 p.m. every day. I'm not gonna lie, 8, 9 o'clock I'm asleep. So don't text me, don't reach out to me. I try to get good sleep. I know it's important to take on the challenges for the next day. I know how good it is for your mental health to get good sleep. And the one thing that ties into that is working out. So that's something that I do actually Monday through Saturday. Monday through Friday, I go to the gym. I do a pre workout before I go to the gym. Then I have a gym regimen Monday through Friday. And then I take a run on Saturday. I just run as far as I can and then walk back. And on Sunday, I rest. So moving kind of helps with anxiety, depression, stress at work, stress at home. So I encourage you to do that, and it also helps with getting consistent sleep, because if you work out, then you will sleep better. Also eating and hydrating. So I drink just water basically, but I would say watch what you eat, hydrate, drink a lot of fluids, and get good sleep and exercise. All right. This part is like expressing yourself, and processing things. So I journal every night. I have a journal on my phone. It's a journal app. But what I encourage you to do is use creative outlets. And I talked about this before, mental health journey. The things you listen to, your music, the art, the writing, building things. Let it all be positive. And it's gonna be like a mirror. It's gonna reflect back, and you would be able to handle mental health challenges. I told you, music that I listen to is jazz and gospel. I used to be a hip hop head, but I realized those things were not building me up. Nothing wrong with hip hop, but I'm just saying, like, you want to do things that build you up, not tear you down. And you don't want your emotions to stay bottled up. Like I said, you need to express it in some way. And through music, through art, through writing, through building things, that's the way you can express yourself. You want to build a support system. So, me personally, my wife and kids is support, extended family is support, my doctors. I have a psychiatrist, a psychologist, and a primary care physician. So all of them work together to keep me healthy. And basically, all the other things that I told you about, those are the things that I try to do, right? But you need a team, you need a support team, because you can't do it by yourself, especially if you're going through challenges. 10 years ago, when I was trying to find a doctor, a hospital, a place to go, it was my wife taking me to these places, seeing things through, talking to the doctors for me, translating what I was going through, because I was going through a challenge at that time with my mental health. So you need someone to be able to speak for you, especially when you're going through things. And the one thing that I want to say is setting boundaries. So with people or your environment. So if things that drain you, you're gonna have to get rid of them or reduce them drastically. And I had to let go of some things, some people, some vices, to get healthy. And you have to take that assessment and do what's best for you. All right, I talked about regulation skills, mindfulness, meditation, breathing techniques. I have the 4-4-4. So that's where you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, and then hold it for another 4 seconds, and then repeat. So I do those 4 times. So try that breathing technique. I talked about this before, reducing unnecessary stressors. So you have to take a assessment of your life. And what I learned to do was get rid of all of the bad, the toxic things, and enjoy life, which is my family, my friends, my wife and kids, our pets, my job. So I learned to find joy in different places, not the toxic places, but in the places that actually lift me up and not tear me down. And the other thing you want to do, lastly, is try to track your growth, right? Over 10 years, I've grown as a person. I've learned to not hold grudges, not be evil, not be envious, but also understand that everyone has a soul and everyone has a history of their soul. And the way that they respond, the way that they do things, the way that they act is based on their history. So you have to kind of be mindful of that, and also be, how would I say, not apologetic, but be mindful that they're going through things, and the way that they act is based on their history. So just being mindful of that, and knowing that, everyone grows in their time, right? So you have to just be aware of that. So do a reflection, celebrate small wins. Setbacks are not failures, they're feedback. So you will have setbacks in your mental health journey, but just know that it will get better and you'll learn from your previous situations. And I've learned to let God through all of this. Let His will be done in my life, and in people's lives that's around me, and not ask for particular outcomes, but let God's will be done. All right. So speaking about God's will, I have to hit you with a Bible verse. So this is Philippians 4, verses 6 through 7. Be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be known to God unto God. And the peace of God, which passes all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. All right. Thank you. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.